Good people, good people. What's going on? Rock, salute, salute. Thank you for checking in. Pray that y'all had a phenomenal week on purpose. Yeah, man. Got some good stuff to share today for coach class. And I think we're gonna get right into this with no delay. I may end up uh, finishing a little early. Facebook, salute, salute. YouTube, salute. IG, salute. TikTok, salute, salute. All right, let's go over these announcements real quick, and then we'll introduce the quote of the day, and then we'll get right into the article and discussion. All right, so welcome to Coach Class of Coach. This is your boy, Coach White, self improvement coach, spiritual life coach, family relationship coach. Coach, coach, coach. Man, I tell you, today has been an interesting day. How you guys feeling, man? Fear of God, salute. Thank you for checking in. My brother Marcelo Brown. Man, we got to wrap soon, good brother. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate you. All right, so a couple of quick announcements. Check out my YouTube channel. It's called The Gallery That Tells Your Story. We have a lot of what I believe to be dope content on there. What do we talk about? We talk about life challenges, relationship challenges, and we pick it apart using the Word of God. Because what better mirror can we have than that? All right, so check it out, The Gallery That Tells Your Story on YouTube. Give me some feedback. I definitely want to hear from you guys. Uh, Shout out to my twins who have just uploaded some new uh, content on that page. So check it out, check it out, check it out. And give me some feedback. All right. Also, promoting Aiden's Journey, two Christian fiction novels. One being titled The Invisible Marriage, and the other being titled Forsaking All Others, Aiden and Nicole. All right, that is a two-part series. I want you guys to stay tuned for uh, the third book that I would imagine will be out in the next few months, and that is called Intersections. Again, all Christian fiction novels. It's all a part of Aiden's journey. He is the main character. So check it out. It is available on Amazon and Kindle. And guess what? Doesn't even cost you that much. CW, salute, salute. Thank you for checking in. Also, we have I Do, I Did, and It Didn't. Interesting book title, right? Shout out to Rock. Shout out to Anastasia. Shout out to Taisha as well. Really dope Christian authors who I had the privilege with co-authoring that book project. I Do, I Did, and It Didn't. So that is also available on Amazon and Kindle. So check it out and give me some feedback. 50 Shades of She, if you're really into poetry, and I know I am. Shout out to my wife, my red fox, who, through God's grace, was able to make it out of her experiences with domestic violence through poetry. Yes, good people, poetry is a form of journaling. All right. So if you're into deep poetry, I mean deep poetry, check out 50 Shades of She. That is not available on Kindle. It is available on Amazon. So you can purchase it there. So check it out. Um, Bible studies on Sundays. If you're interested in learning what the Bible means by what it says, you can join me on Sundays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we navigate through the book of Hebrews. We are in chapter 7 at or around verse 24. We will soon be into chapter 8. All right, we have been studying Hebrews for a year and a month, verse by verse, man. Very excited study, and it's a lot that can be learned. Uh, so, yeah, study to show yourself approved. That's what the book says, right? So, you can be a part of that study on Sundays at 12. Also, the replay of that study will be on my Facebook page on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or it will be on the Gallery That Tells Your Story channel on YouTube, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight's replay of Coach Class will be on my Facebook page, Darrell White, and it will be on the Gallery Tells Your Story channel on YouTube at 8 p.m. tomorrow. So if you stop in today and you can't stay, you want to check it out tomorrow at 8 p.m., please do. And again, you can check it out via my Facebook page, Darrell White, or through the Gallery That Tells Your Story channel on YouTube. Last but certainly not least, we have merchandise for sale. We have the Gallery That Tells Your Story t-shirts for sale. We have John 8 and 24 t-shirts for sale. And we have Self-Love Over Self-Destruction t-shirts for sale. All right. So yeah, check it out, good people. Support your boy. All right. Let me bring my brother on. What's up, champ? How you feeling? How you feeling?
What's up, bro? You hear me?
Yeah, you clear. I can hear you clear and I can see you clear, good brother.
Oh, what's up, bro?
Ain't nothing, man. Just making a shake,
I'm Uncle Daryl.
Yeah, va.
You want to say what's up? Yeah, you gotta look at the camera and say what's up.
Hey, little girl, how are you? Good. Good to see you. Nice. Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, they was out of town, so they just got back yesterday, so
Okay.
I had to pull up and just,
Yeah.
get my kisses in.
Yeah. It's only right, man. It's only right. I love the colors of the room too, champ.
Oh yeah. You know, violet. You know, I already know what time it is.
Yes, sir. No doubt, man.
Oh shit, my thing.
All right. Well, we go. Hold on. I just realized to my. I just realized I had in the wrong hat, bro. Hold on. Let me get dressed for a bit. Let me get dressed. It's not for you. It's for you know, those Ravens fans out here. I had to realize I had the wrong hat on, bro. I had to get dressed for
You
a
know,
minute.
I ain't tripping about it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Not for you.
Yeah,
It's
you
for
know, I
him.
don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't care. She shit, swag with them playing with that team.
for sure. All right, man. We're gonna have some fun today, man. We got a really good topic for Coach Class, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're gonna get into the quote of the day. Minimize this. All right. So here we go.
you're not gonna call.
So here we go. And for those of you guys that have been joining us for the first time, we are. I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. We are on our second unit. All right, our second unit. That'll work. Our second unit is on self-improvement. And the subunit is called self-awareness. All right, and today we are talking about taking things personally. And the quote of the day is, there is a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. Read it again. There is a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. One more time for the people in the back. There is a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. And just for the sake of discussion, this resonates with me a whole lot in this season of my life. Shout out to Camille. Shout out to Nova. Salute, salute. Heidi, salute, salute. Thank you for checking in. This resonates with me a lot at this season of my life as a coach and as a human being that is a few months away from 50. I have learned, or I have discovered, that there have been many times in my life where I failed to resolve conflicts appropriately because I took the matter personally. And because I took it personally, my emotions were tied up into the conflict, into the words that a person was saying, into what people weren't saying, into what people were doing, into what people were not doing. I, your coach, realized, TikTok, that I took a lot of things personally. And because I did, things did not go well. Let's bring it in a little closer. I'm a married man. I realized, and I said this before and I'll say it again, relationships, especially the ones that we're in for the longer periods of time, expose our weaknesses as men and women. It tells us what we need to work on. And I will sit here firmly and confess to you that there have been a lot of instances in my relationship, my marriage, where I have taken things personally that my wife has said to me. And when I took things personally, the conversations were not constructive. They were destructive. When you think about a construct, when you think about construction, you think about building. The goal of communication, when you communicate effectively, is to build on the foundation of love. Is to build on the foundation of love, so much so that when you talk to one another, it's an edifying conversation. You're building each other up. But when I have taken things personally, TikTok, I admit that I was destroying and not building. And I will go further to say that I find it easier to deal with people outside of the ones that you are closest to. It's easy not to take those things personally. The challenge is with the people that you are closest to, who know how to push your buttons. We focused 2 or 3 weeks on the topic of getting your buttons pushed as it pertains to self-improvement. The people that you are closest to will push your buttons, and they are the people that I tend, being inclusive, to take things personally when they say something. And it never warrants a productive conversation. It never warrants any edifying, any constructive building whatsoever. It just warrants tearing things down. Just imagine for a moment when you're having these tough conversations with people, and we need to cover that. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna make that a lesson in the future. Tough conversations, but we'll deal with that more when we transition into the unit that focuses on relationships with others. But when you're having the tough conversations with people who you've been with the longest, who have known you the longest, my point is, it's easy to take things personally because they know you. They know you. They've been around you for a long period of time. They know your ups, they seen your downs, and they know what your triggers are. They know what it takes to push your buttons. But just imagine for one moment, TikTok, Vaughn, just imagine for one moment. Dev, salute. Just imagine if you were involved in a tough conversation with somebody that you've been in a relationship with for a long period of time, be it family, friends, associates, spouse, significant other, and imagine possessing the ability to step outside yourself and hear the conversation as if they were talking to somebody different. Imagine what the picture I just painted, and imagine your response is being something like, you know what, I can understand why you feel that way. Or I can understand why you think that. Or maybe it is that you respond with questions. Well, why do you feel that way? What's causing you to think like that? Now notice when you said that, your body language was whatever. Imagine being that poised, that cool, that calm and collected. Because everything they said to you, when they said it, the way they said it, you never took it personally in that moment. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm telling you is that is a win-win scenario for you and for the person that you're in conversation with. Some people, and I've seen this happen too, when you respond to them with calm, poise, coolness, you don't take things personally, sometimes it pisses them off more. And that's when you got to create your boundary and say, look, hey, I don't think this is a good time to have this conversation because what I noticed is that you went from 5 to 10 and from 10 to 20. So maybe it's something that I'm doing or not doing, saying or not saying, that's a trigger for you. I love you. I do not mean to trigger you in any kind of way, but this conversation is not productive. And instead of us tearing each other down or instead of me hearing you or listening to you tear me down, I'm going to go ahead and love myself enough to walk away. And I'm telling you, I want to have a conversation, but the timing is not right if we're not speaking the truth in love. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my boundary up, and I'm going to step away. And maybe I don't say boundary. Maybe I just say, I'm just going to go ahead and step away. And when you think we can have a more productive conversation, then I'm open to it. But right now, this is not constructive. Do you realize if you responded to people like that, meaning that you didn't take things personally, you realize what it would do to their psyche? Think about that for a moment. If you just balance them with that poise, motivated by not taking things personally, man, you did a lot for them in that moment. You showed them that you loved yourself too much to sit there and be verbally abused or emotionally abused. You showed that you have no challenges with creating healthy boundaries. 2, you showed them that you are too emotionally mature to sit and be verbally abused or emotionally abused by somebody or psychologically abused. So much so that you didn't react to what they were saying to you. You just showed that you're on a whole nother level emotionally and that you're tapped in to your emotions. And to the degree that you are self-aware, you also taught them in being self-aware and being poised that they need to respond to you differently and come to you more respectful to even have a conversation. I remember telling many people in my life, this is what I'm about to say here. If a person is yelling, if she's yelling at you, your significant other, raising her voice, there have been times where I have said, whether it's right or wrong, I would say, I can't hear you because you're too loud. If we're going to have this conversation, I need you to be respectful and tone it down for me. Because I love you and I wouldn't do that to you. So you show them in that moment that love doesn't look like barking at each other, raising your voice and being all dramatic. Love doesn't look like that. You show them. It's like holding a mirror up to somebody and showing them what they look like. Or rather, holding a mirror up to somebody, showing them what they should look like as they look at you, being poised, calm, cool, and collected. How dope would it be if somebody looked at you in the midst of an intense argument, one-sided, intense argument, and you showed them that you were nothing but poised and that you were unfazed by what you were hearing in that moment. Think about what you teach people. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing preaches more than your conduct. The sermons that you preach with your mouth closed is what will land more than this. So that's the quote of the day. There's a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. All right, so we're going to explore that today. Let me stop sharing. Da, 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 da. Good brother, you want to add anything to that? Or you want me to carry on? You on mute.
Oh, I always say, I'm not who you say I am. You are who you say I am. So,
Yeah, I like that.
shit.
Repeat that one more time, bro, for the people in the back.
I always say, I'm not I'm not who you say I am. You are who you say I am. So, somebody, speaking ill towards you,
Yeah,
you don't take it personally. Just be like, I'm not that. That's you.
yeah, yeah. I like that.
So it's just projection. You just projecting what you hold inside onto me.
Yeah,
I'm not acting that way in this moment. Like you said, I'm poised, I'm calm, I'm collective,
yeah,
respectful.
yeah,
So you showing who you are, not
yeah,
who I am.
yeah. That discipline, man.
Yeah.
Self-discipline. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. I'm gonna share my screen in a minute and go to this article. I'm gonna give a couple shout outs. Yeah, let's go here. Share. This article is titled "The Art," because it is an art. Oh man, look too wild on the screen. The art of not taking things so personally by Dr. John Amadio. All right. But real quick, let me just check in. Water Chan, salute. Thank you for checking in. Emerson, thank you for checking in as well. Nim Cole, thank you for checking in. Appreciate you guys. Who else we got here? Blur Line, thank you for checking in. I am one live. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have Joker, thank you for checking in. Sonia, thank you for checking in. Salute, salute. Red Bird Vegan, thank you for checking in as well. Energy Boss, thank you for checking in. Esther, Shirley, Nelly, thank you for checking in. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's carry on. We shall not be long. Let's navigate through this article. The art of not taking things so personally, responding versus reacting when someone is upset with you. Notice that the author distinguishes between responding and reacting. And we'll see in the article as we get into this, reacting tends to be uh, differentiated because it's impulsive. Think about the act in reacting, right? The drama that comes along with that. On the contrary, responding, as the author is going to put it, requires more temperance, more self-reflection, and things of that nature. All right. So here we go. And it reads like such. We know that taking things personally can set us up for disappointment. But what does it really mean to not take things personally? And what needs to happen inside us so that we don't? It's painful to be slammed with shaming or critical comments such as, you only think about yourself, or how can you be so ignorant? It hurts to be objectified as a person with repulsive traits rather than be seen in our goodness, beauty, and wholeness. As human beings, we affect each other. We're not immune to feeling injured when a friend or loved one sears us with a dismissive comment. But how we relate to our feelings and understand the situation can make the difference between wallowing in misery and moving on. We have little control over how other people view us. We have more control, on the contrary, over how we view ourselves and how we respond to how we're treated. We can practice self regulation so that our nervous system is not wed to how others relate to us. We can recognize that how others relate to us says more about them than us. By looking clearly at things and holding ourselves with dignity, we can gain some distance from a difficult interaction. Oftentimes, we're so personally merged with a situation that we react mindlessly. If a loved one or friend is angry with us or accuses us of trying to control them, we may have an immediate fight, flight, freeze response. But instead of getting defensive, we can practice self soothing. We can pause, take a deep breath, stay connected to our body, and consider the following possibilities. All right, so the author writes this. He goes on to say, it seems that my partner just got triggered. I want to be sensitive to their feelings regardless of whether or not I did something that triggered them. If I did, I'll take responsibility for that as I explore what was happening inside me that led me to step on their toes. That's pretty constructive and mature. Just think about it. If those were our responses, typically, we would forever be in win-win scenarios. You can't lose with that. Let me read it one more time. Let's pick it apart. This would be our response as we observe our significant other, family, friends, associates, whomever. It seems that my partner just got triggered, which requires observation and attentiveness on our part. Shout out to my wife because we just got finished talking about attentiveness. And then he goes on to say, I want to be sensitive to their feelings, regardless of whether or not I did something that triggered them. And this is all motivated by love. Then he goes on to say, if I did, I'll take responsibility for that as I explore what was happening inside me that led me to step on their toes. So let's break this down. I should have grabbed my chalkboard. The first thing I see here in this paragraph, and I'm going to highlight this, with this kind of response, which is a response, not a reaction. With this kind of response, the first thing I see here is attentiveness or an observation. You observing the other person that's triggered, right? So let's say number one is observing. Let's use action words. Number two is where he says, I want to be sensitive to their feelings, regardless of whether or not I did something that triggered them. All right. So let's go with the first one being observing. The second one is, since he uses the words of being sensitive, be observing, number one. Number two, be understanding. And number three, take responsibility. If I were to break that down into 3 steps, that's what it would be. Be observing, be understanding, and accept responsibility for your part. And this is what I would deem to be a constructive response pattern. So if I were coaching clients, if I were using this statement as an example, I would break it down by saying, and I may be changing the word slightly, be observant, be understanding, and take responsibility. All right, let's look at the next section here. He says, such an exploration might lead to an apology. And then he says, quote, I'm sorry I criticized you. I can see where I came across as trying to control you. But deep down, I was feeling hurt and it came out as anger. I didn't want to feel vulnerable, so I got defensive. Check that out. So if I understand the picture that the author is painting here, you have a two-way conversation going on. I'm thinking, if I'm interpreting this right, this paragraph that I highlight here would be person A. And maybe this would be person B. Let's recap again, because I want to make sure my interpretation is accurate. He says, it seems that my partner just got triggered. I want to be sensitive to their feelings regardless of whether or not I did something that triggered them. If I did, I'll take responsibility for that as I explore what was happening inside me that led me to step on their toes. All right, I got it. So it's not person A and person B. This would just be person A. All right. This paragraph here would be the self-talk of person A as they reflect. This second paragraph would be what they actually say to person B. Because it says such an exploration might lead to an apology. So what they would say after doing that reflection and having that self-talk, it would be, I'm sorry I criticized you. And pay attention to the I statements. I criticized you, right? I can see where I came across as trying to control you. I was feeling hurt and it came across as anger. I didn't want to feel vulnerable, so I got defensive. That's what you call ownership. This is what you call owning your part and being the mature or the more mature party. And again, this is a response, not a reaction. Because a response requires self-reflection, being understanding, what I say, being, let me go back. This is why I should have grabbed my chalkboard. Being understanding was the second one. Accepting responsibility was the third one. And the first one was being observant. All right, being attentive, being observant. All right, let's move on. It says, perhaps my partner was getting triggered by something I said that has little to do with me. Maybe old hurts were getting activated from a prior relationship or from childhood trauma. Don't be so quick to blame yourself when someone is upset with you. This is actually good. I like this. Don't be so quick to blame yourself when someone is upset with you. And this is how you begin not to take things personally. Because, and I think I said this last week. If I didn't, then I'm saying it this week. If I did, charge to my head, not to my heart. The benefit is repetition is where we learn. It's just like have you ever been in a situation like this TikTok? Elliot, salute. Thanks for checking in. Daniel, salute. Thank you for checking in. Look, right, you ever been in a situation like this where you're upset about, let's say, whatever, and I'm just going to use this random example. Let's say you were working on something, you were doing an administrative task, and you were trying to upload a document, and you were having a lot of challenges. Something as simple as uploading a document. You became frustrated because it is something that should be so simple. Somebody comes in a room, your significant other, and they ask you about something, they catch you right in the middle of your frustration moment. And they're bringing something to your attention that's pretty important. And you snap at them. You lash out at them. To a point where they're looking at you like, where'd that come from? You upset about the document that you had trouble uploading. Not necessarily about the conversation, but they end up becoming the punching bag, right? And maybe, let me tie this in for you. Maybe in your childhood, somebody that said they loved you criticized you and ridiculed you over extensive periods of time because you couldn't take care of minor tasks. So like it says here, don't be so quick to blame yourself when someone is upset with you. Now, I just flipped it a little bit, right? I flipped it so that now you're mad at somebody else or you're lashing out at somebody else, when really your anger is tied to an event that happened in the past. Although you have this one thing going on in the present moment, it reminds you of something that hasn't necessarily been addressed. But you end up treating somebody else like a punching bag. For that person should not blame themselves because you get upset with them. They need not to take it personally. TikTok, are you with me? I'm just trying to break this down for you. And then he goes on to say, backing off from blaming ourselves or our partner gives us some space from a situation. We listen openly and non-defensively, and that is key, without taking it so personally. Openly and non-defensively. That is key. And listen, it's easier said than done. But I believe in you. And it just takes practice. Practice in owning the situations where you actually listen defensively and respond defensively. All right? And then he goes on to say this. We maintain our boundaries rather than immediately sink into a shame pit or react in a defensive, snarky way. We hold our own feelings and their feelings with more spaciousness while exploring together what just happened. All right? All right, so this next section of the article gets into gaining a clearer perspective. And again, as I read through this, I want you to keep in mind that there's a difference between reacting and responding. And we want to respond, which takes self-reflection on our part. We don't want to react, which is a more immature response that's impulsive. That is when the little child in you stands up and tells the adult to sit down. That's what we don't want. Because little kids don't care about consequences too much. All right? So he says, oftentimes we take things personally in the sense of feeling responsible for everything that goes wrong. Immediately thinking we're to blame, we lose our sense of self. It's a little easier to not take things personally with people we don't know. And I said this earlier, but it can be still challenging. Perhaps we're tailgating without realizing it. As we pass them, they flip us the finger. Rather than take their road rage personally, and I could have did that today. Praise be to God. Rather than take their road rage personally, we might consider the following. They may be having a hard day. I often say, maybe they look, and these road rage things that happen pretty often here in Baltimore. I often say, maybe they just got to go to the bathroom. Or maybe, on a serious note, maybe they're rushing to get to the hospital because they got some bad news. It's an alternative. But let's carry on. Rather than taking their road rage personally, we might consider the following. They may be having a hard life. Or they may have been traumatized by a traffic accident in the past. We may have triggered their survival fear, which led to their rage response. These considerations can give us perspective, and that's the goal. We're not bad. They're not bad. We had no ill intentions, yet we nevertheless were a little careless in our driving. We don't need to succumb to toxic shame, yet a touch of healthy shame might remind us to be more mindful next time. Whether we're triggered by a loved one or stranger, we may respond personally because we're a person, a human being who thrives on kindness and recoils when we're poked. The good news is that we can regain our footing as we remember to take time to pause before reacting and being more mindful when we are reacting. Or should it be responding? We can bring gentleness to our sensitive spots and a spacious awareness to the situation so that we see it in perspective. We can learn to tap inner resources and realize that not everything is about us. When we miss the mark, the little meaning of the word sin, we can acknowledge it, repair broken trust, and be more mindful moving forward. Gradually, we can live with more compassion for ourselves and others. And now I'm thinking about it, I probably got the words twisted, responding and reacting. But either way, you get the gist of it. You don't want to, whether you call it reacting or responding, you don't want the little child in you to be the one doing it. We want to take the time, we want to reflect, we want to think it through, we want to be observing, be attentive, be understanding, right? And own our part. And then we want to come with our statements, which validates the fact that we have owned our part. And we want to make sure we use words that build and not destroy. All right? So, any questions, comments, concerns, or thoughts before we close out? This is good, man. Do not take things personally. All right?
Sure.
Anything, Brody, before we close out?
It's just a lot of the stuff we be speaking on, you know.
Yeah.
That things be. Don't take it how people react. Shows who they are, not who you are.
Yeah.
How you react shows who you are. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
be kind. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's key, man. Kindness will go a long way.
Have courage.
All right. So let's give a couple of shout out. Water Chan, thank you for checking in. Kenny, thanks for checking in. Brother got bumped out. Let me let him back in. All right, there you go.
Yeah, I'm on my way home, so I'll be cutting in and out.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Just checking in with the people real quick before we close out of here. Appreciate you guys. Phyllis, thank you for checking in. Del Meezy, thank you for checking in. Yasin, thank you for checking in. Shane, thank you for checking in. Much appreciated. Risky Nine King 1, Junior, Pride Lonely. Who else we got? Stay Sober, thank you for checking in. Get Paid 215. Julie McAfee, thank you for checking in. Jay Hawk, thank you for checking in. Shelly Jefferson, thank you for checking in. Thank you, all of you guys, for checking in. Much appreciated. See you guys next week, Lord willing. And again, you can get the replay tomorrow on my Facebook page or on the Gallery That Tells Your Story channel on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Salute. All right. And that. All right, man. I'm part 2. Now I gotta I gotta do a recording for the podcast. I got 2 more weeks. I'm not gonna renew my contract with Love Radio Network. But I got 2 more shows. So I gotta do something tonight for their show tomorrow at 9. And then yeah, but I'm tired, man.
Yeah, get some.
Tired.
Make sure you get some sleep.
Dancing with my old lady last night.
Oh, you want dancing?
Yeah, not that kind of dancing.
What you want to go do? What you want to go do? The margarita?
Oh man, I'm telling. Hey, you say it again, bro?
What you want to go do? The margarita? Somewhere?
No, you tripping. Man, let me hit the string real quick. All right, y'all. Facebook, thank you.